We are live. This is the market update. This is the high-powered money. Jerome Powell is in the house, just like 2024 market update. Everybody got negative. Everybody in January. Everyone out March. Everyone back in again April. Thank God I listened to Toby in the YouTube member area, and I did not get bearish. I did not drink the bearish Drano. Negative, Ghost Rider. Negative. The podcasts are full, right? Did crypto just reverse course? Are you constantly panicking about crypto? Worried? Not worried. She wasn't worried, so I wasn't worried. Well, that's a lie. I was worried, but I listened to her instead. So should you. Not to mention the fact that every big thought leader in the business, Jordy Visser, Arthur Hayes, yours truly, will absolutely not get bearish. Why? Because there's a fundamental shift coming. There's a fundamental shift in tech investing, and there's a fundamental shift coming in money, right? In other words, legacy can be until further notice, right? Just because the Fed comes in and makes a statement doesn't mean the Chinese are going to stop selling treasuries, because they're not, right? And they have been. We'll go over that simply, right? Chinese are trying to wreck our markets. Now, I'm not a big Jerome Powell fan, but it's a choice between Jerome Powell and communists. I'm with Jerome Powell. And you know what? So's the altcoin market. As I've said, 2024 October, Jerome Powell puts high-powered money in the system so everybody can have a merry holiday season, so the Brandon administration can carry on, right? Simple. Just put it in and let's have a pump-a-thon. Now, there's a reason for it, right? You cannot have the treasury market get wrecked even if the Chinese keep selling. You got to put high-powered money in the system, which they've already done it, right? So then it's not visible. It's not visible. I don't know how they do it, and no one cares. The way you know they did it is because altcoins are flying, which is exactly what happened in the fall of 2024, right? I mean, it happened before the election, and I think it also happened back at the bottom in 2023. So the Fed puts high-powered money in the system, and it's off to the races. It's off to the races. And then, of course, since they have to change the subject off the tariffs, right? Notice, like computers and cell phones are exempt, right? The tariff conversations are going to, they got to top out. And when they top out, that's bullish for crypto. That's bullish for crypto. And they got to switch to the strategic reserve. Michael Saylor has told you. He has told you. You knew what I knew. Bitcoin would be at $10 million, right? They're going to do something. They have to do something, particularly if Chinese selling of treasuries out of Europe, which won't stop, threatens the integrity of the bond market. They're going to bring all things to bear, right? As RFKJ said, fix the money, fix the world. That's it. That's it. Now, of course, naturally in crypto, fix the money, fix the world starts off with Fartcoin. Okay. So I would rather have us be kind of stupid on the upside rather than everybody being negative, right? Everyone's sitting around complaining that Fartcoin is up. Who cares? The junk always comes off the bottom first. The junk leads, or highly speculative, or PopCat, or whatever, right? Who cares? Who cares what meme coin leads off the low? The point is meme coins lead, and then all the big stuff follows. And don't go anywhere, because I got historical analysis on ETH, Solana, and all these big cap altcoins, and a little bit of spice for Nasdaq. Could the people in equities have gotten a little bit too bearish? Oh, and by the way, as mentioned all last week, the dollar fell out of bed. So, communists, don't you love them? First, the Chinese chase all the Bitcoin out of the country. Whoops. Texas is like, I'll take that, cowboy. Then the Chinese get this great idea to try to push back against the orange man. That what they do is they have treasury holdings in Europe. Like, I don't know, Belgium holds all the Chinese treasuries for whatever reason. So what do the Chinese do? They dump the treasuries, right? They get dollars, and then they dump the dollars for Swiss francs or the euro. And like you have these huge moves in legacy called the dislocation, right? Huge moves. And that's the Chinese driving the dollar down, right? Right? They sell the dollar indiscriminately. So the dollar's lower. Meanwhile, gold's up, dollar lower, and everyone's Friday is sitting around like, and the Fed comes out and says, yeah, we're not allowing this to come unglued. Arthur Hayes says, buy everything, and the market just sat there. Everyone's just like, right? Because, I mean, I understand. We've been sort of lobotomized by the intensity of the volatility. Everybody was afraid of the Sunday night debacle because that's usually what happens, which is why the Fed came out on Friday and said, we're not having any of this. That doesn't mean you still can't have volatility. You can still have volatility. Sure. You can have up 8%, down 8%, up 8%, down 8%, or you can have up 8%, down 2%. Everyone waiting for the dip. They don't get it. Then it goes back up again. Well, what do you know? Right? Like who wants to pay $1,600 for ETH today? No one. No one. Right? Because they're too busy getting shorted. We'll go over that. So I mean, again, this is just okay, wait a minute. Here we go. It's happening right now. Here we go. Like the Eagle King. I'm going to welcome everybody to the stream in a minute, but you know, the Eagle King is just banging away on it. Senate Banking Committee Chairman says major Bitcoin and crypto bills will be passed by August. Digital assets are critical to American dominance. They're changing the subject. You know this whole thing about stablecoins? There's a lot of guys out there that are like, oh, yeah, stablecoins. It's great. Folks, stablecoins travel on a layer one. And they don't just sit there. So stable coins come in and maybe they buy Bitcoin. Okay. Or maybe stable coins come in and they go to DeFi. This whole thing where ETH has no use case. Okay. Yeah. ETH's not Solana. We've heard the whole ETH case. Everyone pukes it back to 2017, back when ETH allegedly had no use case. Don't tell me ETH has no use case. ETH has got this entire gigantic web of layer twos. You could probably run a huge chunk of the legacy financial system through ETH layer twos. You'd pay gas, but you could run it. You could do it. Because ETH is just this huge, reliable network. And we've seen what Solana can do. There's no hate for Solana, right? I mean, Solana has been battle tested. So they're going to do stablecoin legislation. Bessent wants it, and they got to change the subject. And Bitcoin Vegas looms, right? In other words, if they're going to drop something, I mean, Bitcoin Nashville, okay, meh, whatever. Now, that's not going to get the national stage. Bitcoin Vegas, okay, that's the national stage, okay? Please go check that out. The affiliate link is here. No one wants to go, and that's exactly why you should go. Exactly why you should go. Because when they announce what's really going to happen at that conference, like right now, they're like, oh, Ross is coming. Oh, okay. I'm like, okay. I mean, I want to hear Ross, but I want to hear from Bessent. That's who I want to hear from. Or Sailor. Or all three of them. Just have a panel. The Orange Man, Bessent, Sailor, and Novogratz. Let's go. Bull Runner is here. Good afternoon, sir. Art from the Amsterdam airport. What a freaking warrior that guy is. Right? Yeah, GF, if the Orange Man keep his mouth shut, we might do well. That's important. No more tariff talk. Take the phone away. Cat D, Happy Fat, a new VIP all access member. Sir, rock on. CC, right? No, I didn't. No, not at all. No, it was just time to move on, bro. Just time to move on. Got a lot of respect for that guy. Fought the SEC for 3 years. And he kept that company running. You know, I wouldn't be on YouTube if it wasn't for him. Right? Ben B from Tampa. Welcome. Daniel Ortiz, a member, rocking the McAfee emoji. The great Santini. Moon Sector 7, a member for 6 months. Oh my God, the dollar cost averaging Spartan King. Big Rich in the house. Alexandra. Oh my God, what is going on in Dollar Schwitz? That was my first job. Martin Reben was his name. I can't remember. It was the head trader. He thought my name was Get Cappuccino. The head dollar Swiss trader at Swiss Bank Corp. If you've seen the 3 Keys logo from UBS, that's where they got it from. Chase Wright, Zepedes, James, what's up? Cardano and Chainlink. Yeah. Find out now 7. Find out now. Cosmic Contrarian, a new member. Daniel J with us. Swiss SEB. Conference far from Switzerland. More of my friends from Switzerland. I'm going to see it one day. Pierre, oh my God. Steve J, the DeFi guy, is back. He's back. The whole thing is back. Oh my God. Can't believe how loud I'm going to shout into this microphone. The neighbors are going to call the cops. Fed absolutely prepared to step into markets. Boston Fed President Collins. And that's the market update. By the way, don't forget, the middle tier offering Patreon had these guys bulled up, ready, had the historical analysis, everything. Refused to get bearish. Refused, right? I anchored those guys. LuxAlgo, we will do some altcoin overtime today, and there will be more altcoin overtime in Patreon later today or tomorrow. Now, here's a word. It's a legacy jargon term. It's called dislocation. And what's happened is, since the Chinese came in and did all this crazy stuff, as I discussed, volatility moves from market to market. So first, Nasdaq was insane, right? And then the bond market was insane. And then the foreign exchange market was insane. And of course, crypto went down. Crypto went down, but I don't know that it was totally insane. I mean, it was kind of awful for one day, but it wasn't like out of the normal, right? We didn't have stuff up 40%. Well, that could happen because if you can have, a metric like the dollar versus the Swiss franc move 4% in 2 days, which is just huge, right? Not to mention the fact that, I used to have this kind of data and I'm working on getting it, but wait until you see what happens the couple other times the dollar index, DXY, remember that? Crypto Twitter was an expert on that, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, right? When you see DXY go down 2.5% or 2% in one day, that's basically accompanied every Bitcoin bottom going back to 2015. You might have to wait a couple weeks. Who cares? Who cares? This thing is going to go vertical. And you want to know who said it? AIntivirus right now. You know who said it? Is Toby. She's like, bro, this is going banana singularity 2017. And as I've said on multiple streams, and I didn't talk much in a lot of those member podcasts. I just sat there in awe. I'm just going, oh my God, what is she talking about? I mean, yeah, that's great. Banana singularity, I'm all about it. We all are. But where the hell is it? It's not on my charts. I can't see it. Only she could see it, right? Because she's the Solana psychic. Then all of a sudden, like 2 days ago, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. If we got sell bonds, sell stocks, sell dollars, courtesy of our friends, the communists, that's going to blow up in their face. Because the Fed's going to put high-powered money in the system, and you're going to have speculative assets dislocate up. So we had dollar dislocate down, Nasdaq dislocate means huge move. And then crypto can dislocate upside. Dislocate goes in both directions. And I still think the Bitcoin dislocation is coming. So is the Ethereum dislocation. Just boom. Right? Where you just wake up one day and it's gone. And I think the only reason it's not gone today is because everybody's worried about Sunday night, Asia, whatever they're worried about. The Fed's in, right? What leads off the bottom? The junk. Okay, well, what's the junk in global markets, whether you like it or not? What's the junk? We are. Altcoins, crypto, we're the junk. Stocks, bonds, legacy, everything. Crypto, what's the junk? Us. We lead off the bottom. It's as simple as that. rough dollar performance and treasury market sell-off close out a tumultuous week. It's been quite a week, right? We had Manic Monday, Blink Wednesday. That didn't last long Thursday. Yeah, then we had Up Only Saturday. Okay, Up Only Saturday. Okay, this thing, who's long? Where's the supply? Who's going to sell? Where is the supply? There isn't any. Michael Saylor's got it all. He's got it all. He's got it all. Larry Fink's got it all. When corporations and governments come in to buy Bitcoin, this thing's going to go right back to 98. Volatility moves from market to market. The dollar versus the Swiss franc down 4%. I know you don't know what that is. I know our friends in Europe know what that is, but you don't. And that's fine. That's insane. That's like Bitcoin moving like 10% or 20% in one day. That never happens. You have 1%, 2%. That's huge. Everybody just said all of a sudden over there in Europe, when the Chinese started selling government bonds, they're like, oh my God, I got to get out of the dollar. I got to get into Swiss franc. And I looked at this. I saw this. I wasn't even looking at it. And I was like, oh my God, if they're buying the Swiss franc, which is just fine, by the way, but if they're buying the Swiss franc and they're buying gold, what's next? It has to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, it turned out to be altcoins. Great. Of course, the market always does what you don't expect it to do, right? The thing nobody owns and no one liked went up first. Fartcoin led, alts followed. And then eventually Bitcoin goes and the whole thing just turns into a volcano. It's a volcano. It's a fundamental shift. It makes sense. And Uncle Sugar is going to need it if he's going to stop the carnage in the treasury. Fix the money, fix the world. That's it. That's it. And that's a wrap, folks. Buy everything. Top Fed officials say the Federal Reserve is ready to help stabilize the market if needed. Arthur Hayes. I saw a graphic that said Arthur Hayes like started out with like, a couple $100 and wound up with like 500 million from like leverage trading on the way up. Yeah, I guess he's dumb. He doesn't know anything, right? Come on. Okay, this guy I used to work with who is going to be like giga famous. Okay, now this guy's attitude on equities was, well, they're going to price in a recession, but there won't be one. So when they get done pricing it in and all the investment banks and all these dimwits get done adjusting their research to the price action instead of thinking, right? Because, you haven't had to think in legacy in years. You haven't had to think, right? He's like, they're pricing in a recession. There won't be one. One. Two, the AI trade is more robust than anyone thinks. Three, the best AI trade is Bitcoin because it's software that you can't copy with a chatbot and it's money. And guys like Michael Saylor have so much Bitcoin that nobody can ever, accumulate that amount in this environment. So Bitcoin, MicroStrategy are a part of his tech prosperity trade. So Jordy's really good, right? He was the original author of the market update back in like 2000. Reminder that it wasn't too long, right? We had in early March, Besson says there is no Trump put, meaning we will not save the stock market. Then we had this. 1 month later, this is a great time to buy, and the orange man pumps it. So the orange man won't pump it. Up, it goes down. The orange man will pump it. Huh, funny. Okay. Then we have a few hours later, Trump reverses course with a 90-day pause. Now that he had everybody leaning towards the apocalypse. Then this thing that is going on in the bond market, right? It blew up the most it did since 87. So the 87 blow up wasn't in equities. It was this little highly leveraged, quirky trade in bonds that they could have blown up the system, right? Because these clowns borrow money to do these like strange bond trades. And that thing, the original word, dislocated. Whoops. Men behaving badly at Wall Street. Imagine that. While U.S. 10-year rates went up, German rates were unchanged, leading to the largest weekly divergence in history. In other words, the Chinese sold our bond market massively and maybe switched over to the German one. Who knows? Out of spite. And despite that, we saw the dollar index collapse, right? The dollar index just fell out of bed. So interest rates went up, which should have favored the dollar, but the dollar went down anyway. Why? Because the Chinese were doing sell bonds, sell stocks, sell dollars, which is essentially the case for Bitcoin. The 2-day fall in the dollar index, right? It's only the 4th time it's happened. Here's the Bitcoin reaction from the first one in 2015. That's where it happened. So dollar index down 2% in August of 2015. Banana, banana, banana. Banana, banana, banana. Okay. 2015. What do we got here? 2020. And we went over this, right? The only time you had the kind of reversal you've ever had was 2013. You had the bottom in Bitcoin and one more puke in stocks, and then Bitcoin was off to the races. Okay, right here, right? Straight up, sideways, banana. Right? It just leads to a banana. It's just a question of how long you have to wait. I mean, you get a nice pop, you get the pop, and then you sit, and then it goes. So April, May, pop, sit in the summer, banana. You know, this was a Q4 banana. And this was like, you know, April, you know, this, I don't know, this was a multi-month banana starting in April. But you still had to wait, right? You got the initial banana, and then it went sideways, but then it eventually just goes. But that's Bitcoin. Alts could move differently. Like, you know, member area, Toby, members all set up, ready to go. Bitcoin decouples from stocks. Altcoins decouple from Bitcoin. She's been telling people that for a year. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Come back. Okay. Yeah. All right. So dollar index gets wrecked. Oh, look at this, right? Way down here at the post FTX bottom. Dollar down. Bitcoin ETF banana. This time it'll be the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve banana, right? And remember, right, the Fed hasn't helped yet. He probably wrote this before the Fed statement, okay? Diamond sees Treasury market kerfuffle where Fed steps in. Yeah, no duh. He's the one calling to get saved. He's the one calling to get saved because he's short gold and he's probably exposed. He lent all the money to the hedge funds to do this idiotic trade. The global fiat system is breaking and national capitalism, which will lead to more debt around the globe as countries focus on their economy in this trade reshuffling. The new global system of exchange will be driven by AI, stablecoins, and Bitcoin. And we are so bearish. Like, I took this, put it together with Toby, put it together with my charts. I got on this thing and screamed. I told Patreon. She told the YouTube member area in her way, not even knowing about this. I mean, you know, the bull case, everything you ever wanted is here. It is. It's here now, right? Right now. Oh, this. Oh. This year's top ETF strategy, shorting Ether. Yeah, so the 2X leverage short ETH ETF is like the top rated ETF in the world, right? Patreon, the middle tier group. Remember, there's a guy named Big Rich who asked me for charts for his DCA, and he's just like, you know, his little, he's just like printing. Please come join us, right? That's how you talk directly to each other and to me. Yeah, so let's get short ETH at 1,400. What a great idea. Bitcoin, the exit ramp for dollar hegemony. Okay. It's here. This time, the public will be informed. This time, the public can watch the folly. This time, the public has options. They have not allocated to the Bitcoin ETF yet. They have not allocated to the ETH ETF yet at all. Mutual funds haven't done it. Really, remember, the Bitcoin ETF is primarily held by speculators and traders. Mutual funds and the general public have not done the Bitcoin ETF yet. Monday might be a good day. Monday might be a good day. Right? I mean, people in Switzerland just got 5% more purchasing power to come in and buy dollar assets. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, we're rich. You know, and in Europe, they're funny. You know, you get a big move in FX like that. Oh my God, they're running down to the currency booth to take advantage of it. It's like, hey, let's go to Europe. Hey, let's go to America. Hey, let's buy the Bitcoin ETF. It's going to happen. Not to mention what happens in Hong Kong. I'm telling you, the setup is perfect. China has offloaded $50 billion in treasury bonds and limited virtue purchase of dollars. Meanwhile, an anonymous whale is buying European bonds. Okay. Okay. Have a good time with that. Really. Right? The Europeans want to spend themselves into insensibility fighting the Russians. Good luck with that. But, you know, he's making himself clear. It's like, okay, well, just rotate from one bond market to the other. All right. And the Fed will just, you know, drill money into the system, and we'll see who wins. The communists who got rid of Bitcoin, or, you know, Jerome Powell and Donnie T. Okay. You know, and again, don't forget Michael Saylor and a strategic Bitcoin reserve. These characters can do this. They're accelerating their own problems. They're pushing the dollar lower. We want the dollar lower. Crypto people want the dollar lower, and so does Donnie T. The communist buffoons they're doing what we couldn't do. They're doing what Powell could do. Powell's like, oh my God, look at these clowns driving the dollar lower. How nice. And they're probably selling their treasuries at a loss. Communists, they're great. Don't you love it? I don't think people can understand what can happen here. Okay. Member questions. So will we be off to the races for the next 80 days? Dude, I think this goes up into Memorial Day. That's what I think. In spurts, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's altcoins first. I don't know. There's going to be cycles within cycles, right? So Bitcoin did okay off the low. I still think you're looking at a 10, 15% one-day move in Bitcoin. Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, middle of August and early May. I'm sorry. Middle of let's do it this way. The Easter seasonal, right? 30 days before and 30 days after Easter, normally bullish. I have more of that in the historical section of this stream. Don't go anywhere. This is the type of thing that Patreon gets, but I'm giving it to you guys today because we got to get this market turned around. Got to get people turned around because people got so messed up. We saw it in the views. We saw it. People just left. They just quit. I don't blame you because you couldn't see the way out till the communists helped us. Okay, so the orange man exempts smartphones and computers from new tariffs. So, you know, Donnie T wakes up and he goes, hey, what's on the agenda for today? Okay, how can we get on Twitter and how can we get on Truth and just F with everybody? Right? It's just the guy's got everyone so off balance. Right? And then they come out with the strategic reserve announcement or somebody hits that conference. Forget about it. You're going to go, oh my God, we were selling everything. El Salvador, one of the lowest inflation rates in the world, and this guy doesn't do anything but buy everyone's Bitcoin every day. You know, he puts in 80K a day. 80K a day. Just in 85,000 Bitcoin. And Pudgy, it's just like, we are so back. You know, what Pudgy Penguins is telling you is that this is coming. We haven't seen it yet. Like 85K, this is not it. You could go from 85 to 105. I don't see why that can't happen, especially if the dollar continues to go down, right? It's like, oh, okay. You know, gold went banana, dollar collapsed, and Bitcoin's up 2%. ETH's up 5%. So what? So what? ETH should be at, I'm not going to tell you where ETH should be. Toby told you in the YouTube member area. You should probably go check that out. There's also videos in there where she thinks the ultimate upside target is for ETH and XRP, by the way. You know, so go listen up. Okay, El Salvador, buy only. Buy only. Now, let's talk about privacy. So I'm having a chit chat last night in the Telegram, and according to what I'm told, and these guys have done nothing but execute, I'm told that AIntivirus is going to have private Solana trading, like from an existing wallet, like not like Monero where you have to have like a special wallet or something like that. They think that they can build something where you can just sit in your Phantom wallet and trade privately. Now, I'm not a blockchain guy, and I don't know how that works. And I do know we have a full suite of privacy products that the general public can easily use. I mean, I did it. They're going to have email, gift cards, SIM cards, green plants, whatever. Now, you're like, okay, Bill, yeah, we've heard this before. And there are all these guys fudding the project. They're attacking little guys on Twitter that are like trying to like be enthusiastic. Okay. Right. Meanwhile, our friends over in the UK. Anybody ever seen the movie Minority Report? It's really too bad we can't have like the AIntivirus Minority Report watch party where they have thought crime. They use a model. In this case, it's like, I don't know, it's like some sort of like psychic creature to predict when a crime's going to occur. And, you know, they show up and everyone's upset and you get arrested and you get locked up before you do it. Thought crime. The Canadians have it. They're going to vote for more of it up there. They're doing this. Like, this is not, I mean, I read this yesterday. People like, yeah, okay, Bill. And then Zero Hedge has got it. The UK is doing thought crime. The social media thing, they're doing it. So how long do you think it's going to be before they got control of everything? Because nothing can stop them. I mean, people over there voted for this for whatever reason. They voted for it, not understanding that the Labor Party was probably not the Labor Party. There are all kinds of bad people out there. You know, I'm always talking about sovereignty and governments don't always act in your interests and governments are going at it with each other. It's like crypto forever. Forever. And here's AIntivirus, right? 4-hour chart, trying to get off the bottom, right? $2.3 million market cap. Absolutely unbelievable. JP Morgan responds to the Fed. There is a liquidity crisis right now. With the euro, the yen, and the Canadian dollar strengthening at the same time, this could be foreigners selling US Treasury. Huh, you think? Legacy. With almost $1 trillion in this strange basis trade. So wedge funds go out, borrow $1 trillion, do this lever trade, and it's blowing up. Okay. So as in 1998, when you have hedge funds behaving badly, you can go to Wikipedia and type in long-term capital management. And you can read the story of John Merriweather's quant hedge fund where, you know, the thing his model said couldn't happen, happened. And ironically, it was an Asian currency crisis. It was the foreign exchange market that triggered it. Risk assets went bananas and the model blew up. The Fed had to come in, basically take control of the hedge fund. Goldman actually came in and Goldman got to take the model home for free. Right? They owed Goldman money and Goldman's like, okay, yeah, we'll take the computers. Goldman took the model home. They dismantled the hedge fund. Greenspan cut rates 3 times. And then the age of the computer, the PC, kicked off right after that. So we did Merriweather, and we did an Asian currency crisis, and then we did Dell Computer and Microsoft because everyone was too busy thinking about whatever they're thinking about, and no one's going to remember this. Everyone's going to make, hey, remember the tariff jokes? Remember when everyone's all wound up, right? That they couldn't get their free people outfit for $20 instead of $120, and we sold crypto on that? CZ, I'm happy to advise any government on crypto adoption. I'll do it for free. Me too, man. You know, it's like, anybody want to have a legacy guy around who can, you know, 12 years at Goldman? I'll be on a panel. I'll interview Janice at Bitcoin Vegas. If anybody's out there listening, please call me. I told CoinDesk to call me more often, right? Solana stablecoins have been stickier than anticipated. Imagine that. Imagine somebody wanting stablecoins on the fastest network that's out there, right? The meme coins tested what this network could take, right? Especially the Orange Man's meme coin. So everyone's like, wow, that's all negative, and it went up, and he rugged us, and I was all grumpy about it, and that's fine. But this stablecoin thing is happening. Because you know what? When the Chinese dump the treasuries, they need Tether to come in, and they need 16 Tethers to come in and be buying the treasury bonds that the Chinese won't. And the Chinese are free to do what they want, right? But the Fed's down there, And all coins reflect that. So the Chinese can do whatever it is they're going to do. And like communist buffoons throughout history, it's going to just blow up in their face. But, you know, they're more than willing to continue. I'm happy. I'm okay with it. Bitcoin's still on track for 1.8 million in 2035. Guys, can we get to 105? No one's talking about 105. Seriously. No one's talking about 120. The thumbnail, which I may have screwed up the thumbnail, but the thumbnail, the video where it said Bitcoin 120K when this market was at the absolute bottom, 78K, I published 120K. That may have been the lowest viewed live stream in the history of the channel. No one wants to talk about it, which is why I want to talk about it, right? What's driving cryptocurrency adoption around the world? Okay. Fiat chaos. That's what it is. New York bill proposes legalizing Bitcoin for crypto payments. Now, you have to understand something. The leader of state hostility, including federal hostility, I think, was the state of New York. Every big crypto lawsuit is in New York. They hate it. And I've never understood that. You know, they were the kings of financial innovations in the 80s and the 90s, and they spent 15 years hating on crypto. And when they reverse course and everybody in New York can get involved and we're all selling. I mean, this is like news on the tapes. Like, be one thing if I just, you know, open this thing up and monologued and bull posted it, just like said random stuff, but I'm not. This is like legitimately happening. McDonald's wants in. How are they going to get the price of like a fast food lunch back into a normal range? I mean, food prices probably will come down, but not fast enough. So how do you fix that? Well, you buy Bitcoin and you hedge the currency. So if Bitcoin goes up, you can lower the price of food. Now, you ain't buying this food with government money per RFKJ, but McDonald's also has to convert from that nasty oil in the fries to beef tallow, which can't be cheap. So someone in the treasury is like, or somebody on the board is like, hey, guys, we got a bunch of corporate treasury guys making 7 figures a year. Can we get some Bitcoin, please? How much of this do you think is out there? A joke wrapped in volatility. Fartcoin goes up 300%, defying global market carnage. Okay, so I've talked about this before. And of course, I love this because the equities guys could not stop making fun of Fartcoin. Oh, yeah, it's a top in crypto in January. It's Fartcoin at 2 billion. It's a top. Ha, ha, ha. Okay. Yeah. How'd the Magnificent Seven work out for you clowns? And they mooned Fartcoin in your face. Ha, ha, ha. Fartcoin was made by Truth Terminal. Fartcoin doesn't talk. AIntivirus and John McAfee does. Okay. Okay. So you can fart on. Please fart on. All right. So people saying that the orange man is capitulating. Smartphones and computers are China's largest export to the United States, now exempt from tariffs. Okay. So the tariff conversation can end. The tariff conversation ends. Per research from 2017, crypto goes up, up, up. Bitcoin doubles. Every time the tariff talk would top, Bitcoin doubled in 2017. It's as simple as that. Bitcoin tops 84, looks to end the downtrend, right? Tariff talk can stop. SEC, Crypto Trading Roundtable, delves into easing path for platforms. Thanks, guys. Looks great. Hester looking good in his suit. Less talk, more action, please. Gold and bombs safe haven allure may be fading with Bitcoin emergence. Okay, so no one's going to stop buying gold, but gold is a dollar devaluation, has been the entire time. Silver, ETH, and Bitcoin are next. I keep saying it. I say it every day. People are like, Bill, you're a broken clock. And I'm like, you're damn right I am. Because I'm not coming off this. I'm not. Right? Arthur Hayes isn't coming off of it. Jordy Visser isn't coming off of it. No one's coming off of this. No one. Okay. So what do we got? So we got a lot of LuxAlgo action going on here across the board. This is Solana on a daily chart. These are the downward sloping wedge formations. LuxAlgo likes drawing. Okay. And LuxAlgo is starting to come in and buy these things. A lot of times, you know, like you got, as a reminder, so LuxAlgo is a momentum signal, chase this big, you know, orange man God candle that you had back in early March, which got sold. Now the market appears much more hesitant, right? This was like, oh my God, I love it. I can't believe it. We're saved. Now the Fed's in and they won't touch it, or they will touch it, but not that much. Okay. And then you go to Solana on a weekly basis, which is what we were talking about the other day, right? And Solana on a weekly chart held the 200-week moving average. Okay. And there's a Fibonacci circle point right here at 140. Okay. So guess what? You got a bottom in Solana. And then guess what? You might actually have a bottom in ETH versus Bitcoin. Okay. This is ETH versus Bitcoin weekly. You have LuxAlgo bottoms here. The downtrend should have ended there. This is just incredible where this went. And I've been talking about the DeMark chart on this for like a week, right? The daily chart, same thing. Look at people just pack it in. Throwing in the towel on ETH at 1,400. Okay, yeah, there's been no case to be bullish ETH. So if you were bullish ETH at 3,200, 2,200, you wound up looking like an idiot. But if you were bearish ETH at 1,400, you're an idiot, in my opinion. Not you, of course. You're the nice people that watch the show. I would appreciate if you subscribe to either Patreon, the YouTube member area. You can get an emoji for $4.99. And if that doesn't work, the notification bell helps us. Hit the notification bell, please. Okay. ETH versus Bitcoin. You look at this DeMark chart, which, you know, 2 days ago might have been a joke, is not a joke anymore. It's not. You could have a long-term bottom in ETH versus Bitcoin. You have a 13 and a 9 bottom. I know I was pounding the table on this yesterday, and I know I wasn't getting anywhere, and I understand everyone's over it. No one wants to do it. But if this is wave 1 up, wave 2 down, a monstrous wave 3 is coming. You get 120K Bitcoin, you could have ETH at 4,000 very quickly. Oops. Did I just devolve the short-term upside target? Maybe. Okay, so if you want to know what altcoins to buy, we've already gone over this. We got our AI picks. A lot of stuff down 40% in March. They just kept right on hitting it. We just kept right on buying it. Big Rich was in there doing TAO and a coin he likes, AXL, all day, every day, right? ETH versus Bitcoin on the daily chart, right? Inside the discount zone with this like downward sloping wedge. All these downward sloping wedges, they're everywhere. This was the stuff that's out the bottom of everything in 2020. Okay. XRP, same thing. Probably a little bit tougher to see. See these little square lines. LuxAlgo, buying it, 200-day moving average, held after a little stop fishing exercise. Give it a little rubber glove check to make sure you still like it. Boom. Right? American made money. Remember that? They got to change the subject. They have to change the subject. They have to. Okay. Let's look at this. So Bitcoin Cash, right? Smoking. Do you realize equilibrium in Bitcoin Cash is at 440? Currently, Bitcoin Cash is at 357, and LuxAlgo is inserting support underneath this rally. That's what these yellow bars are. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen this, at least twice now, where you start coming off a low. And of course, as is the case, you know, Bitcoin Cash is breaking out of these automatically drawn formations. It doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't. Right? Especially if you go to the DeMark work, right? And you start looking at things like ETH. Okay. Now, LuxAlgo is good because of the signals you have. In DeMark, it's the signals you don't, right? You have this 13 bottom here, okay, back in early March, and this whole debacle, this whole grinding, merciless debacle was a selling climax, right? It was a blow off bottom, okay? 1800. ETH reclaims 1800. It's off to the races. It's off to the races. Okay, Bitcoin, you know, essentially a really nice double bottom. Okay, a nice double bottom. They came down here and destroyed it below 78, and there's no reason why it can't take out 89. And if it does, you know, you'll attack and take out potentially the previous fourth wave that's right there at 89. And if you take out 89, you go into 102. I mean, this is perfect looking bottom. You get a dip tomorrow, you get Sunday night, you get the woo again with Nasdaq, and then the Fed comes in harder, or people just realize that it's time for Bitcoin. It's that simple, right? It's already happened. Okay. So member request for Kolin. Wow. You know what, man? I'm happy. Everyone was complaining, oh, meme coins are ruining crypto, blah, blah, blah. We did some of that. Now we're like, yeah, meme coins are back. Anything is back. Right on. I don't know, dude. Buy breakouts. Buy breakouts, right? Is this a breakout? I mean, with all these things, you kind of have to try to figure out what the previous fourth wave was. Okay. That might have been where the give up trade started from, right there. So, you know, it's got to take out 0.0066. Right. Just find where the give up trade started from. And if you take that out, you buy the next dip and you go with it. That's my current Hershey Kiss coin strategy. Okay. Edwin. Okay. This is a little bit different. It's got a square range, which is very interesting. You know, square ranges are normally interesting. I don't know what this is. What is this? Oh my God, AI directed DeFi. Well, I guess that's why it trades that way. All this AI DeFi stuff is just, I mean, just is going up. Because the next round, I mean, I used to work for a company that wanted to automate altcoin investing. And I think they have to a certain degree. But these AI protocols, you're just going to dump money in there like staking. And then these things are going to go to work and they're going to find yield. They're going to find mo plays. It's going to happen. I didn't check what this was. What is this? First AI powered influencer ecosystem. Yeah, I mean, you know, Web 2, as I've noted, like Web 2 has already got talking people, like real talking people. People who can talk and cut vegetables at the same time. I mean, it's there. It's there, and we're acting like it's not. So there's Lush. There was 0x0x that somebody was trying to, you know, get me to help them promote, right? It's absolutely unbelievable what they're going to be able to do, and they're going to have to decentralize it all. Like, that would be so funny if the winners, and I'm sorry for the visual here, but I'm really trying to get this, because this whole idea about AI influencers, the AI influencer trade has probably got, like, the average market cap is probably like 10 million, right? This is Web 2, right? These are like talking people, right? The guy cutting vegetables. Now, you've seen this before. I know you've seen it before, but then you go over here and people start showing me these coins. And then there was, you know, like I was looking at this, right? Lush. Supposedly these guys have tech. Okay. These guys have tech for influencers. Destroyed, right? And you know, I don't mind helping out these people either. I mean, supposedly, and again, I don't, you know, I don't know anything about it other than the people who came to me said it was interesting. That's all I know about it. This is like some kind of thing that has music attached to it. It's got 169,000 market cap, not investment advice. Just saying that's where this whole AI influencer trade is in crypto. It's destroyed, right? Okay, so we got requests coming in, rapid fire, Arrow. Oh, God, man, I bet there's some people in Arrow that probably lost their mind over this down move. I mean, the first thing you're going to notice on Arrow, just visually, is how far this thing got below its 200-day moving average. LuxAlgo bought it right out of the gate while it was still in the discount zone. And that may be all you need to know, right? Like, no one wants to touch this thing. Like, if LuxAlgo buys it and then it fails right away, all right, you know, it got tricked. But when it buys it and then it dips, right, and then it keeps going, I don't know, man. I mean, when you look at this, I mean, I know that there are other DeFi plays out there now, but this thing is 90% below its 200-day moving average. And clearly, everyone has exited. I don't know why you would be negative on this now. Evaluate this when it tries to take out, like, say, the previous fourth wave. Then do it. Then evaluate it. All right, what else we got in here? Prompt, Kolin. Dog coins, maybe. I don't know, man. Whatever works coming off the low. You got to be careful with these things because it looks like somebody pumped it so they could dump it. But again, you know, these things have very, 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 very low market cap, right? Lea AI. Okay, again, all of these things the same, right? They all did the monster pump during the AI melt up, and then now it's all been left for dead. Okay. Now, who's going to win here? I don't really know. I don't really know. But if you do pick a winner, in here, the time to go pick one is now, because now it's trading at zero, and the only thing that's moving in AI, is Fartcoin. The whole AI, we have all these picks. We have all this stuff. We have this whole spreadsheet that we did in the YouTube member area. We're like, okay, what's the AI trade? What do you like? You know, Michael Saylor, Toby, Paul Tudor Jones, they've all got their little portfolios, and some coins showed up multiple times. I mean, in order to get that list, I had George Soros come in, right? I had George Soros and Tudor Jones come in and say, which coins would you short? And I narrowed the list down from 15 to 5. Okay, Arweave, which was also on the front cover of a YouTube member area stream. Again, you know, this stuff sitting on its discount zone. Most of this stuff has been given up for dead. I do like the fact that money flow is kind of neutral in this. I don't know if I can get it on DeMark. Like, there's two kinds of DeMark charts, right? There's like, you know, it's kind of like a blank canvas. It can go either way. Or you have like monster 13 bottom. So you got the 9 bottom, you got the 13 bottom, right? Oh, share screen. You got the 9 bottom, you got the 13 bottom, and you got nothing in the way until 750. And I don't know what the weekly looks like. You know, Arweave is now back to where it was in October of 2023. So what does Arweave do? I don't know, but if it does something really good, it could go back to 23. Now you can still have volatility, but what happens if everyone sits around and waits for the dip and there's no dip? Or whatever happens today or Sunday night is the dip. I mean, you know, Big Rich was doing TAO. Big Rich got filled in TAO down here at 177. So Patreon, you know, if you got questions, you want to ask questions, you can get an emoji here for $4.99. I could try to do it on the air, or you can get more detailed work in Patreon. You know, it's got to be the cheapest TA request service that I know. But this is already at 270, right? And Big Rich had this idea on his own. And, you know, let's just say we encouraged our members to follow. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than this in many ways. In many ways, right? Now, one thing I do want to look at, because I just think this could just be epic. Epic, right? So MicroStrategy on a daily chart, breaking a downtrend line. Never got below the 200-day moving average. All the hedge funds are short. They're all short that stock. Look at this 13 bottom in Aave. Oh my God. Steve J is just like smiling. You got multiple quantitative moving averages that MicroStrategy was trying to break through. Filecoin. MicroStrategy couldn't get down to the 200. This isn't the 200-week moving average. It's a quantitative moving average from DeMark. And ironically, with this DeMark work here, this was the week to buy. This week was the week to grab MicroStrategy on a dip. Because you could have 5 more up weeks. Where's Bitcoin going to be if you have 5 more big up weeks? Okay, Filecoin. So the big question is, can some of these tech-based cryptos come back? Why would you invest in the Magnificent 7 at this point? You have a 13 and a 9 bottom on the Filecoin weekly chart. That alone speaks for itself. You have a 9 bottom on the daily chart. I don't know, man. I mean, look at this. This thing was trading at $8.50 in December, and now it's trading at $2.50. And the only thing that's changed is all the other tech plays in Legacy are garbage. Legacy is infected with this like bond market trade. The Fed's going to have to hold up that whole system. The dollar has nowhere to go but down. Did I miss anything? So yeah, I understand people are probably holding bags in some of this stuff and they really want it to go up. I just don't understand the rationale, even though your head's probably totally messed up. Mine was messed up. I don't blame anybody for getting messed up, but I mean, you know, we pull these coins up on the YouTube member stream and Toby just looks at them and goes, yeah, we're not getting rid of that now. She's just like, look at it. It's like totally destroyed. Everyone just like walked away. Okay. What do you think is the top of MicroStrategy? Okay. Well, that's a great question. I love that. The top in MicroStrategy is okay. I don't know why I don't have the complete history here. Basically, I think it was going to take out its old all-time high. So like 600. And who knows? It could go beyond that. I mean, Jordy Visser is telling everybody, and he's absolutely right, and he's the only guy saying it, and I know how smart he is. Right? Okay, yeah, here it is. So the premium zone in MicroStrategy on a quarterly chart is like 573. So, you know, 575 at the outside, The 2000 high just came out, was really hot. Mike had a little bit of an accounting problem that I wrote a paper about in business school. And this is holding its equilibrium zone just fine, thanks. Just fine. It's holding right at the all-time high, more or less. 575, dude. Where's Bitcoin? You know what? Let's ask. Let's go to, I don't know if you have tolerance for this. I want to start doing more of this on the air. Okay. Where do you think Bitcoin could be if stock goes to $600, $575 per share? So this is what waiting for perplexity, you know, like our little group here. We have ChatGPT things we like. We have Perplexity things we like. We have Grok things we like. And yeah, just let this thing figure it out while I'm sitting here. MicroStrategy goes to $600. You're going to have the Fed bailing out those hedge funds. Because you remember, the guys doing this $1 trillion trade, those are some of the biggest hedge funds out there, right? So if MicroStrategy is at $575, Bitcoin could be at $150. Okay. And if MicroStrategy valuations expand, it's 200,000. The realistic range is between 125 and 150, which again, no one wanted to talk about, right? In other words, no one wanted to talk about it. I mean, yeah, I probably screwed up the thumbnail because we're trying to get more expressive, right? This right here is the lowest rated stream ever. 120K Bitcoin. No one wanted it. No one. It's incredible. Meanwhile, you know, if I do something about China, right? China, oh my God, 17K, right? I appreciate everyone's viewership, but when everyone's looking for disaster stuff, you just buy Bitcoin. Everyone fed on the disaster and missed this. And the Eagle King is noting that Fartcoin is just relentless. And Fartcoin can just be a gigantic middle finger to legacy. I mean, it's got a cup and handle. I mean, it's just like, you know, you do not need to be a professional chart guy to know what this means. It's just going to keep going, right? You know, 919 million. I hope it goes to 5 billion, right? Because the whole AI sector is going to wake up. This is the leading indicator for the AI sector. It's the Bitcoin of AI. How about that? Right? How about that? Okay, PowerPoint. Breathtaking. Breathtaking stuff going on in PowerPoint. If a book is written about this crisis, there will be a section detailing how the Fed almost, gave up and began buying treasuries on Tuesday night to inject liquidity into the bond market. And the Fed is already aware that somebody named Lawrence Lindsay already wrote a book about how the Chinese try to wreck our currency. It's already been written. It's a fictional book based on what he already knew about the Chinese. Undoubtedly, Jerome Powell has read that book. If not, he can borrow my copy. All right, so it's April, and it's the 12th day of April. What happens to Ethereum over the next month or 2 months, right? The Easter seasonal. So everyone gets done selling for tax day. Usually happens 2 or 3 days before tax day, April 15th. And as it turns out, you look at all the different April 12ths, and you measure out roughly 48 days. Okay, basically, 1.5 months. The average, ETH is higher 77% of the time. And the average rally is 63%. Now, of course, there are huge rallies in here, 50% in 2020, 54% in 2019. But of course, that can't happen, right? You couldn't have ETH go up 50%. That could not happen, right? It's not possible. You have the seasonals going in your favor. You have the dollar going in your favor. 1,600 times 1.5. 2,400. So we're saying ETH couldn't go up 50% and go to 2,400. Is that what we're saying? I hope not, because I got numbers that say exactly the opposite, not to mention common sense. They're proliferating stable coins. The government has got to change the subject, and crypto is the perfect subject to change it to. Meanwhile, back at the analog pattern match ranch, we have a perfect match with the pre-election bottom in October of 2024, back when Benjamin Cohen thought all coins were going to zero. It's a perfect match with the bottom. The computer has got a 95% match. This is Bitcoin. This is Solana. So in many ways, Solana had the final puke, just like it had. If final puke was bigger than the final puke back here, you could get a little dance up, correction up. I mean, why would anybody get out of Solana? All these short selling bearish clowns were calling for double-digit Solana, scaring retail out of the market. Stupid. Stupid. Not doing it. Not doing it. My views could go to zero. I am not getting off of this because this is a fundamental shift. It's a fundamental shift. Look at Bitcoin Cash. Similar match. 97% with October of last year. I don't tell it to match up with October of last year. I just say, give me the best match for the last 180 days. Down, 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 pump, choppy range, boom. Right? I'm not saying it's up only, although that is possible. But this is done going down. And it's just a question of what goes up and when. When, I think, is soon. Because we're behind the curve on this Easter seasonal. Market should have been much higher already. But, you know, we had to do, I don't know what we had to do. We had to do the legacy polka. We had to dance to the tune of tariffs and communist buffoons. Great. Awesome. Thanks for giving us everything we ever wanted. Nasdaq, Web 2. Similar type of puke, not as big, from August of 2024. It's unbelievable, right? You know, if this bottoms, you got to watch out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's not much of a case for Web 2, in my opinion. But if this thing actually does bottom out off the Fed, putting sugar, and nobody likes sugar like they do. They start putting sugar in the market. I mean, you could have this thing do quite the reversal. I still think it's in a range, but hey, I'm not going to be upset if this thing turns around and makes a new high. I mean, you do realize that the bottom of the market, bullish sentiment was zero. CoinDesk has me on TV going, hey, happy Black Monday. The market's going to zero. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Bitcoin's going to climb out of the hole, and they should have said Ethereum with it and Solana. Money supply, also known as money surprise, right? So, you know, this is an analog probably from past years. This is their projected move in M2. And this is before you had the Chinese trying to wreck the treasury market on purpose. Man, they are going to put this in the system like you don't know. They cannot have this. Jerome Powell does not want to go down in history as a guy that screwed up on inflation and then let the Chinese blow up the system. Especially since they had to know about this men behaving badly thing with this treasury basis trade with $1 trillion in leverage. How the hell did hedge funds get $1 trillion in liquidity to all do the same thing? I mean, does anybody know how to work a spreadsheet or a computer? Gee, the entire system is hyper levered the same way. Is that a good idea? And they say we're idiots. You got to be kidding me. Okay. 10th day of the quarter, right? For Bitcoin on Thursday, right? 2024, October, last year. So nothing specifies October. It's just like, hey, where are we early in the quarter, like late in a week, early in a quarter? We did this yesterday. And I know everyone thought I was out of my mind. You get 11% up in Bitcoin in 10 days, right? So what did we get? We got about 5% the next day. They can do 5 more. And last year, they did 13, right? In 2014, they did 31%. You saw that Jordy Visser thing, right? About the dollar bottom, the dollar top, and what happened in 2015. Nasdaq up 8%, Bitcoin up 8% in one day. When was the last time you saw that happen? March 13th, 2020. The absolute, so equities, excuse me, had one more puke. Okay. And crypto absolutely bottomed. That was the absolute low in crypto. So when you have these huge upside reversals, that's it in crypto. LuxAlgo bought it like 10 days later, and then it was off to the races. It was, 70% higher. And that's the market update, right? It just went straight up. Like what is the negative case for crypto? Super chat. Oh my God, Big Rich. You're a beast. Thank you. Okay. So AKT. Okay. So I guess the first thing you want to know about AKT is that it's on Coinbase, right? So it's on Coinbase. Big Rich was digging it. It hit the discount zone and came off. And right now it's breaking out of one of these formations, just like pretty much every altcoin you can imagine. And if you got any capital left and you ever wanted to go for it, and they give you any kind of a dip, even if it's a dip today where people just use it to kind of get out, if you have any Sunday night booga, 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 go for it, right? If you look at this kind of stuff over here, right? Okay, AKT is on Coinbase, 13 bottom. You got every positive signal that you would want. Now, I know bag holders always sell, but it's above this moving average. Like here, it couldn't hold it. We'll see if it can hold it here, right? In other words, it's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. So if you can actually buy any type of dip here as people, end their pain and get out, figuring there's more of this next week. Yeah, there's more of this next week, right? What there is, and again, I keep coming back to this, the tariff, the top in tariff talk. In 2017, when tariff talk would top from Perplexity, right? The headlines on tariffs up in the top right, the 20-day moving average of headlines from tariffs. So yeah, it's a moving average, so it takes a while. But when everyone was talking about tariffs, Bitcoin was at 931. Then when nobody was talking about tariffs, Bitcoin went to 2.7K. So you 1x Bitcoin. July, 3K at the top of the tariff talk. Then all of a sudden, as tariff talk stopped, dropped, August, 5K Bitcoin. And then, of course, the final, when tariff talk topped at 5K, boom. That was the banana singularity. The second that they shut up about this and change the subject back to crypto, nobody is going to be able to remember why they were selling. And if the government bond market continues to trade poorly because the Chinese are leaning on it, that's just going to bring the Fed in harder. One, it probably will create volatility. But volatility and dislocations are now working in Bitcoin's favor. Because I still think, and of course, no one will say this, maybe until Bitcoin Vegas, the only way to make sure that people really want treasuries is to back it with a certain amount of Bitcoin. And it's a question of time before Michael Saylor is on the tape saying it. They should have RFK say it. I wish I had a video capability to play his speech. I brought it up. I played it. The first thing he said was Bitcoiners have it right. Fix the money, fix the world. We're all fighting with each other. We're all at each other's throats. All we need is better money. And no one wants to buy better money. It's incredible. It's incredible. Okay. All right. An hour and 20 minutes is probably putting a major dent in the Eagle Kings weekend. Folks, we appreciate you turning in. The YouTube member area and Patreon. The market is back. And even if it's not, it will be very, very soon. Everybody is caught not knowing what to do. The good news is we know what to do. That's me, Toby, and the Eagle King. We will see you soon.